This is day 456 of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. If you'd like to sponsor our kind share or more of Arukh HaShulchan Yomi, please contact me directly. It would be greatly appreciated. Still in Simon Shin Aleph, of course. Today we're doing Kuf Zayin to Kuf Yud Daled. Kuf Zayin. Kila. Vu min Rebekah Pusa Kiriya. Kila is usually considered a canopy over or an awning over a bed, but here it's the material fabric part thereof, and it's spread like a curtain. Yesh Baritzuos Harbein has many belts which hold, I guess, when it's on a canopy to the canopy frame. Which they stretch. But Plios, and let's say now, obviously, if he's wearing as a garment, he's not, those belts serve no purpose. Mutai Sati Baba says Shurami allowed to wear it out into Shus Rabim. These little belts are not considered to be a burden, because they are negated by the kila itself. So therefore, if you have a belt of some sort, now I'm not sure, don't think it's about necessarily a garter belt with which people used to hold up their socks in the old days, although maybe he is, but it's somehow or another this belt is has straps attached to it. And they're made to tie the shoes. Shabra glove. Again, it makes sense it's a garter belt, but I'm not sure that it is. With that belt, even though the belt, the straps are dangling, and not tied to the shoes, the batle agav avnei, because they are negated to the belt itself. But if these straps are made out of silk, they're ornamental, they're significant, low batle, they're not negative, also made unless, obviously, that's obviously, unless the shoes are tied to them. Anything which is separate from the garment but sewn on or woven on one side, such as fasteners, they're not significant. It says you're allowed to go out with that garment. If they're significant, they're not batel. But beged bias by us a house robe. Shtub chalat. Shtub is house. Chalat is robe. Aruchim. It has long. Evidently, these are also belts. For him, and they're sewn on the back. I guess you do find that in robes sometimes, but mostly comes to my kittel. Yom Kippur kittel sometimes, or very often actually nowadays, the belt is sewn to the back of the garment so you don't lose it. It's for him. They it's for him. They are so on the back. And you wrap it around you like around the garment, like a belt. They're certainly insignificant. They're negated by the garment itself. Mutar says by begging allowed to go with this garment that was mentioned in a kosher, even when the belt is not tied to clean and the belt is hanging from its place in the back of the garment. And so too, evidently they like the pull, like you have sometimes some pull straps, like a sweatpants. Forgetting what the word is for that. For which you tighten them, but they are negated to the pants. Some shenosim shleikus al ktefayim, and those people who carry something called shleikus on their shoulders, shechabrin, that they connect b'kneplach shal michnasayim, and I believe that these are actually suspenders or braces, depending on which country you live in. Bluos shel hashleikus, as you put the I said before fasteners, but they're really buttonholes. So you put with the buttonholes of the suspenders, you button them to the pants, and they hold up your expenses. If these suspenders are not connected, you didn't put their holes onto the buttons of the pants. Also, it says suspenders are a thing unto themselves. It's a burden. If you have one strap of the suspenders which is working, and the second one is become torn, you have a mind to fix it. Also, it's Bob. You can't go out with these suspenders on Shabbos. The low batel labeket, because the second suspender, which is not functional at the moment, is nevertheless not batel to the garment. This is a mistake. You can't go out with them. The Mishabur also passes this way. He says here the Chai Adam brings down this in brackets. Chai Adam maybe zem because this Zarak with tzitzis kavor baram the Duke. And only by tzitzis it's a different story. But I'm not sure why at the moment and what the issue is. And we're going to go ches. Somebody goes down Shabbos with a talis which is not a proper tzitzis. Is chayav chatas. And they should also machutim chashulim and slow. Because even the strings which are there, even though they're not properly done, are significant then. I guess this is actually the case of the tzitzis that the Chai was just thinking about. Okay, this is the case. So if he goes to the talis, so he goes to the talis, Shabbos the talis does not properly have tzitzis kilchos according to the string, according to the proper halacha. Chayav chatas, he's liable to chatas. And they should also machutim chashum hem etzlo, not the beggar. The strings which are there are significant to him. And he has in mind that they should be there. Actually, I said tzitzis until he fixes the completes or fixes the tzitzis. Chashivas the mitzvah, chashivas the significance of being available for a mitzvah is a significance. Nearly the imdaito l'shlicham lachutz. If you have in mind to throw out the tzitzis, lo chashiv ba'ali, they're not significant and they are batel. That's obviously then, although you should not be wearing them on Shabbos. In any event, but those strings are not significant. And bottom, it's not necessarily going to throw out the beggar. It's even going to throw out these strings because these strings are no good. But you're going to throw them out, so therefore they have no significance. If it's properly, it has proper tzitzis. Even though we don't have tchelas, mutar l'tzeis Shabbos, we're allowed to wear it on Shabbos. Right? Not having tchelas would seem to be a problem, which is why briskers don't wear tzitzis out on Shabbos. I believe it's a sheet of Baal Amor because of tchelas and not tzitzis. But we paskin that tchelas and lamer are two separate mitzvahs, and therefore even if it doesn't have tzitzis if it doesn't have tchelas at the moment, just lavan, it's fine. Then that he explains here. Now that's the mitzvah. But I feel b'Shabbos b'layla shenis man tzitzis even on Shabbos at night, which is not the time tzitzis mutter. Allowed to wear the tzitzis. Because that's the way people normally wear it. They wear it day and night. Makoli early nevertheless seems to be talis goes also tzeisimo b'leil Shabbos. Wow, now allowed to wear your over talis. The talis that you wear for davening on Friday night. Because people don't normally wear it at night. So in other words, Arukh HaShulchan says the entire chashivas of a talis gadol is its mitzvah. It's not a garment in and of itself. Chashivas of a mitzvah, the fact that it's a mitzvah makes it a malbush. It's only malbush when the mitzvah is operative k'derech b'nei adam. When's the mitzvah operative k'derech adam? For since the talis cotton at day, but also at night because people wear it at night as well. But talis gadol, so people don't wear it at night. It's not operative as a mitzvah, and it's not even the derech levush to wear it at night, except Yom Kippur, except for the night of Yom Kippur. The Oz Lovshim, so that then we do wear it, Mutar Tzeisbana, and you're allowed to wear it out. Regardless, he says, if you do go out with the Talis Gadol, you're not Chayav Chatas, Shehu Rei Beged Shel Mitzvah. It's not, Kenny Ali says here in brackets, not sure Beged Shel Mitzvah makes it okay, not Chayav Chatas. I don't think we've had that concept before. The beggar shel mitzvah is not chayav chatos; it's only Yisud Rabbanan. But evidently, that's what the Arukh HaShulchan holds. Kuftes, Kosvatur, Kova, a hat, Ilom Hadik, it's not tied on the head. Also, says for just ramen. You're not allowed to wear it out just ramen. Shema Yavden or Ruach, maybe the wind will take it off his head, blow it off his head. Vasas is going to come and have to carry it. If it's tight, Shari the Rashi. It's permissible to Rashi according to Rashi boli tefach, even if the brim is more than a tefach wide. By the time we boli tefach, according to if it is a tefach wide, also it's forbidden on mishum oel to wear because of oil. Afilu babais, because it's not an issue of kotzah, it's an issue of oil. Therefore, even at home it's also. If it's less than tefach mutar afilu b'shusarabim, it's permitted even b'shusarabim ad kan l'shono. V'zel das a Rambam Zal B'Sol Perek HaBeis Zel Shono. The Rambam writes, Kova Shosim Al Rosh, a hat which one makes on the head. V'yesh lo sofar makefes, and has a rim around it, or brim around it. She also tzel, which makes shade. Kamo ohel, like a tent, al v'sho on his clothing. Mutter lov, you're allowed to wear it. But if it protrudes from the garment he has around his head, I guess it's like a turban, or even just opposite his face, like a tent, like a baseball cap, which has the visor only towards the front. Still, and it's tight on his head, but the visor which comes out is tough like a roof. Also, it's for elimination. Also, right, because it's a temporary oil. V'nim the Rashi have a cover shlosh according to slifa. According to the Rashi, the hat which we have, which is slipa, or hot, which I guess means hat, or kapelias, all these types of hats. Ilom hadik osir. If it's not tied to your head, it's also shem pom mirosha. But I say surabim. That's not the issue of oil. That's but because you might go to carry for amish surabim. Avokshum mirosha, but it's tied on the head lo chashina. It's not a problem. Also, if it's deep. Sharosho nichnas l'tocho, his head goes into it, opposed to just sitting on top of his head. Muter's permitted. And also, if it's not a derech in that place to go in the street without a hat, it's also permissible. Because if it falls, he's going to immediately pick it up, put it on his head. Because considering, if you're certainly not wearing a yarmulke, and you're going to remain with your head uncovered if you take off your hat or if your hat flows away, we're not concerned they might come to carry it. And we're also only concerned with Shusarabim, not in a Carmelis. They ever say it's mutter according to Rashi. The koshkin kashur berura tzula, that's going to certainly mutter if it's tied with a strap underneath his throat. So the Rashi's issue of that maybe it'll blow away is a rare issue in our day and age. Kufyud abashum oil sfila Rashi. Rashi is not only the issue of oil. Yesh time shum the ain't oil below mechitzas. Once it says there's no thing as oil without walls. It's an interesting finish. Though the ain't oil, which you mean like you put up an awning on Shabbos, it would certainly not be chayav chatas. Perhaps it would be not this the rabbanon. I don't know. Though the ain't oil ain't binyan. Oil also is when it's something like a structure. A little bit bigger now with a garment, which ain't oil, just like when you cover a vessel, it's not an oil. Like will be eventually explained. An oil which just you plop on and it becomes an oil in one fell swoop. It's not going to be an oil. The oil is binyan. That's a fascinating sight here. Interesting sight. And oil is also because of binyan. Wow. Building has to be construction. And construction means, by definition, that it happens over time, not immediately. It's the base of English Lasi comes down from Shemayim, could even come down on Shabbos, because it's not binyan. He says here, Svara, bracket says, Svara Kazuksu Baran, Perak Tolin, B'Shem Rabbeinu Yoina, Zalayin Shab. Okay, that's Rashi. No, for whatever reason. Avo Ychufirav. Over that's Rabbeinu Tava Ramachin, that's Rabbeinu Chananel. They all the Kshu Rochav Tavach Shayach Be Oel Kshu Kosher. When it's Tavach white, it is issue of OL. If it's a tough visor, a tough brim, the Vade Birach Lo Shayach. If it's floppy, it's certainly not an OL. If you put a talus over your head and you walk them shusramim, even if it's flopping out more than tefach leisam, but it's not a problem. But it's hard, if it's sturdy, if it's hard, shaykh oil, and it's oil is an issue. The oil should be on b'siva koyim. Maybe they hold the principles which we described in the previous sif, according to explaining why Rashi exempts you. Nevertheless, oil. In this hat, there is a concept of oil. Mipnei shehu asui litzel, because it's made for a shade. Mitchilasa originally, like night to protect the eyes. If he goes on an angle like a brightel, I guess it's kind of beret. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it has a obviously it has some sort of brim, so I guess it's not a beret. But in any event, lo shach o is not relevant. So he says that maybe shibur even applies to a fedora. If you wear a fedora at an angle, it's not protecting your eyes. It's not really protecting you. And that wouldn't be an issue of oil. But saying and furthermore, oil provision is only when you have in mind to wear it for shade. But saying we don't wear our hats for the purpose of shade, as is well known. So he says that those who have issues with their eyes, and they put a broad visor opposite the eyes, according to Brillick, even though it's never wide, it's hard, the Kamnos has in mind for shade, wow, it's not prohibited, it's because it goes on an angle. I guess the oil would not be on an angle. He says, listen, let's be real. Even though it's referred to, because obviously it's not a true oil. Don't prohibit it by somebody who has an eye problem. He wrote a hat which protrudes from your head. Now I put on your head. I feel biased even in your home because of the oil. He didn't have, was not concerned to explain. It said it's only when you have a hard visor or brim. He's very concise here. If you go out on Shabbos with a hat which is intended to protect you from the sun, also those who forbid it, because maybe the wind will lift it off. He takes both Shitas Rashi and the Rambam l'chumra. V'utema is astonishing. And before he was precise to write about, so if you put it in your hand and then go out, from the time of the oil, because if the issue is oil, in Levish Kodesh Shabbos, you put it on before Shabbos and went out on Shabbos, mutter, because construction took place on a weekday. The time of the nafil, gam chay gav the and if the issue is that's going to fall off, then of course that would be different. That would be also that in that case as well. The velt is makel to wear hats, which have the brim of a tevach. But I believe Shlomo Zalman writes that the original minute to wear a strimel on Shabbos, as opposed to the broad-brimmed Yerushalmi hats, was precisely because of the tefach, which the broad-brimmed Yerushalmi hats extended, and eventually fedoras perhaps even got to a tefach as well, depending on the style. But the strimels, once upon a time, did not extend out of tefach, but I'm not sure if that's true today. With the more elaborate strimels which we see around today. Mishabura writes, in place of the customs to be meko, is not to be meko, you certainly should be machmir, like a Shulchan Aruch, not to wear a broad hat. And the Kisvei Ari also answers with a broad hat, which is a fedora, I assume, which is for, or actually like the Hasidic hats is more of an issue. Here, Arizal answers that as well. Back to Arukh HaShulchan. The belt that's not yet is evidently comes from several places. The Bach, the Yarabah, Tesha Shabbos. Because we all like Rashi. That the issue is where they're going to fall off. That's Mag Varan Va'o Rishon Miskim Rashi. The many Rishon do like Rashi. Hekasam Ma'ariel. But the aim is that it's all. There's no problem of OL because we're going with Rashi's Pshat. And the issue that might fall off, Leika say Leika explain Rishus Rabbim. That's an issue because we have no true Rishus Rabbim in our day and age. Because the other reasons that people don't go around without a hat on, etc. Some people refrain from putting the talis on their head when they're in a public domain because of the issue of oel. Shatalis mishnei tzayim, the talis on both sides have a kemichitzas like walls. Sharosh, and that which is on his head, have a gag is like a roof. Avi oel, and creative way you can see this as an oel. The name is a tavrech. Rosh dismisses this out of hand. Gemara says as an astonishing assumption. It's soft and it bends and folds over. And it's like a wrap. Kainu. Now nobody's concerned to not put the talis over their head. This is the primary way of davening is with the talis over one's head. So therefore, it continues to be it is the primary derech levisha. Kufir gimel, a parasol. A parasol is a parasol. Shikorin shirim o regin son. Regin son, I guess, is Yiddish for umbrella. It can protect you from sun or from rain. Mahila rosh on the person's head. Yeshbo krosim los harbei, and as many fasteners and buttonholes. Pascal is open. It's like construction Shabbos. Also, Rosh, you can't carry it over your head. I feel even your courtyard. There's all gomma. It's complete oil. But oil again, it is purpose to be an oil to protect the head of the body. Certainly to open and close it. The Yesh binyan is like construction. Yesh kain Isser Torah. That's the way he puts it. There's something like an Isser Torah involved. If our Sukkot Olam, the after Mishnah, somebody wants to permit it with Babel, who may atzmo, he indicates upon himself she'embel yiras shamayim. Wow. V'emes who Isser Gomer and also Medina Blom Mitzad Chumrah, and it's really a din not to carry it, not just the Chumrah. Famous Chazon Ish, who argues on the Yehuda, came up with the idea with the umbrella being an OL, and he says that the reason why it's really also is not because of O, but because there's Nimser Chachamim to determine what's considered to be a public desecration of Shabbos, not necessarily according to strict letter of the law, but by unbecoming conduct and behavior, and the Chazon Ish says an umbrella falls in that category. Very interesting and remarkable Chazon Ish. Shonach Mishnah. Chachamim taught in the Mishnah Reish Perek Yud Erevin. Hamotzi tefillin. Somebody finds tefillin. Machnisam zug zug. He brings them in pair by pair. Kloramin dimatzom mokom shishmor miklav michayos. If he found a place where they're preserved from dogs and from animals, shalei tanfun, they won't dirty them. Lo tarlov shem Shabbos, not allowed to put them on Shabbos. Av im en lishmor miklanovi, even they're not safe kept from thieves. The Ganavi will not desecrate the tefillin. Zem Mefurash Besot Perek on the Beitza and Sham. Listen for in the first Perek and Beitza. Namim and on Nishmar Miklavim, but they're not being safe kept from dogs. Chacham allowed you to wear them like in a weekday. V'avagav the Shabbos lab smart tefillin who, even though Shabbos is not designed tefillin. Become nevertheless lab masui. It's not a burner. Came now in derech malbush, since it's like a garment. Bechol since it's like wearing a garment on a weekday, so therefore on Shabbos, it's in Shabbos it's true as well. According to strict law of law, like the Gemara explains there, came with Shabbos lavas it's about tefillin, and then Shabbos is not the time of tefillin. It's interesting because Shabbos is not the time of tefillin. So anyway, you're not wearing because of the mitzvah, so you can put out two pairs at once. It's enough room on the head and the hand for two pairs of tefillin, as we see the Eidatam Mizrach who put on tefillin Rabbeinu Tam, they wear them simultaneously with Rashi. On a weekday is also Mishum Baal Tosef. I guess put on two Rashis, two Rabbeinu Tams. The Shabbos lo Shabbos Baal Tosef, Shabbos not Baal Tosef not relevant. Shem is Kav Shem is still because not for the purpose of tefillin anyway. El Afa B'Shem Kain Hadin. Nevertheless, even though that's a strict letter of law, nevertheless, Ev Shalom Rose came B'Tamidus. We cannot constantly, we cannot rule this all the time. I guess, not sure why we do it all the time, but it's only exceptional circumstances. First of all, it's only by small tefillin. There's room for two of them. Both when they're somewhat larger. Shenir Shlomo Komon, and now if you put it on a place that's not the proper place, Havoi Masui, it's a burden. As possible, also possible to say, you're not permitted to carry any more than you normally do on a weekday. Okay, so basically he's saying that the heter of 2 tefillin is rare. That's what he means to say. Heter is rare because they both have to be in a makal tefillin. And they both have to be makal tefillin, even though it's not doing the mitzvah, but that's in derech levush, that's in makal tefillin. It's not in makal tefillin. It would be considered carrying, and therefore, unless your tefillin is very small, it would not be possible if you found tefillin on Shabbos to wear them to more than one zug at once in order to bring back to a proper, safe kind of place.